Now coming to commonly asked Viva question part 2. First, regarding liver, the examiner pet question is what is true ligament and what is false ligament? Define them. True ligaments are the embryonic remnants, whereas the false ligament are just peritoneal fold. Name them. So, true ligaments are ligamentum teres and ligamentum venosum. This is the anterior aspect of the liver and this is the posterior aspect. So, true ligament, ligamentum teres and ligamentum venosum. And false ligament, anteriorly it is falciform ligament, superiorly it is superior inferior coronary ligament and right and left triangular ligament. And behind there is lesser omentum. Okay. Now the examiner will ask the ligamentum teres is what? Then you have to say it is the remnant of left umbilical vein. Ligamentum teres is left umbilical vein, love. And what is the ligamentum venosum? It is nothing but the remnant of ductus venosus. He may ask that what is ductus venosus? It is the embryonic communication in between the left portal vein and the inferior vena cava in order to bypass the venous blood through the liver, directly going into the heart. Okay. Now the another question is what is falciform ligament? It is a double fold sickle shaped peritoneal fold lying on the anterior aspect of the liver. And what is their content? Content of falciform ligament. Just remember, in our world, most of the people are false. People, false. False is falciform ligament and people, these are the content, PPL, that is the paraumbilical vein, periportal vein of Sappi and the ligamentum teres. Okay. Now, here is the ductus venosus. The examiner can ask, now tell me what is ductus arteriosus. Then ductus arteriosus is the communication between the left pulmonary artery and the distal part of the arch of aorta. Okay. Now regarding liver, another question will be structure lies in the porta hepatis. Portal, that is the hilum through which the neurovascular structure passes into and coming out. Okay, exit out. So what are the structures there and what is their arrangement? So from posterior to anterior, it is VAD. P for posterior and P for portal vein. So portal vein lies posterior most. Portal vein, then A for hepatic artery and D for hepatic duct. VAD. Okay. Now he may ask what are the structure running in the free border of lesser omentum. It is again VAD, but here is the portal vein, hepatic artery and common bile duct. Okay. Here is the hepatic duct and in the free border of lesser omentum there will be common bile duct. To spleen. Why it is called odd number organ? Because it has got 1 inch thickness, 3 inch breadth, 5 inch length, 1 inch is 2.5 centimeter, 7 ounce is its weight, 1 ounce is 200 grams, and it is in the relation with 9 to 11th rib. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 and 11, which is called Harris dictum, and that's why it is known as odd number organ. The examiner will ask what are the 3 ligaments of peritoneal fold which are in relation with the spleen. They are gastrosplenic ligament anteriorly, lienorenal ligament posteriorly, and below phrenicocholic ligament. Now the examiner may ask what are the contents of gastrosplenic ligament and lienorenal ligament. Suppose this is anterior and this is posterior. In front of the spleen here is the stomach and behind there is kidney. So in the lienorenal ligament the content will be the things which are necessary for spleen. So what are they? The splenic vessels and the also the tail of pancreas. And what are the content of gastrosplenic ligament? The things which are necessary for the stomach, that is the left gastric vessels, left gastroepiploic vessels and sympathetic nerve, lymphatics as well. Okay. Now they may ask why the superior border is notched. Because it is the evidence of multinodular origin. In the embryonic stage, it is formed by the fusion of the multiple lymphatic nodules. Okay. Now, the examiner paid question is, what part of the spleen become first palpable in a splenomegaly? It is the superior border. When splenomegaly occur, the anterior end, which is like a border, anterior end, it progresses towards which axis? It is going towards which axis? So it is it progresses, it enlarges towards the right lower quadrant. You have to say right. Don't confuse with left lower quadrant. It is right lower quadrant. Okay. Regarding lung, the viva question will be like this, that the examiner will ask why the color of lung is black. Is the same as the fetal lung? Then you have to say no. At the time of birth, the color of lung is rosy pink, but in adult it is black due to the inhaled dust particle. Just use word inhaled dust particle. Okay. And what is the medical legal importance of lung? If before birth the lung is not full of air, the lung tissue, so it is more heavy, it will sink down in the water. But after birth it is full of air and crepitus on touch and light in weight, so that will float on water. This is the main difference, that the death of baby occur before or after the birth. The lung is the evidence. If before birth, it will sink down due to its heaviness, and if death occur after birth, that type of lung will float on the water. Okay. How will you determine the side of lung? About the side determination, you don't have to tell that the right lung has 2 fissure and 3 lobe, and in the left lung there is 1 fissure and 2 lobe. No, you have to say that we can't differentiate the right and left lung on the basis of fissure and lobe, because these are variables, and the border and the surfaces will decide its side, that it is of right side or left side. Examiner may ask why there is concavity on the diaphragmatic surface of right and the left lung. In the right lung, concavity is due to the liver, and in the left lung, concavity of the diaphragmatic surface is due to the spleen and the fundus of a stomach. Now we may ask, what is the lower extension of lung and pleura? The lower extension of lung is 6, 8, 10. That is the 6 at the mid-clavicular line, 8 at the mid-axillary line, and 10 at the scapular line. And the pleura is the covering of lung, so obviously that will be more. So 8, 10, 12. 8 in the mid-clavicular, mid-axillary 10, and scapular 12 for the pleura. For the viva of a stomach, you have to memorize just one word, that is spoons. Spoons, that it has got 2 surfaces, anterosuperior and posterior-inferior surface. Two part, that is the cardiac part and the pyloric part. Cardiac again divided into the fundus and body. Pyloric again divided into pyloric antrum and pyloric canal. O is for orifices. It has got two orifices, cardiac orifice and the pyloric orifice. Again O, actually it is not O, it is C. It very much resembles O. So C for curvature. It has got two curvature, that is the lesser curvature and the greater curvature. Here, very important point, that what is the attachment of peritoneum over the lesser curvature and the greater curvature. Lesser curvature, it is lesser omentum, and greater curvature from craniocaudal direction. It is first gastrophrenic ligament, then gastrosplenic ligament, and then greater omentum. Very important. Now, two notch, that is the cardiac notch and incisura angularis. Here it lies, the most dependent point of the lesser curvature, incisura angularis. And as for sphincter, that is the cardiac sphincter and the pyloric sphincter. So stomach follow the rule of two, everyone too, about the spoons. Most favorite question for the examiner is the what is structure running along the lesser curvature? It is the left and right gastric vessels. And what is structure running along the greater curvature? It is right and left gastroepiploic vessels. About the pancreas, the examiner will ask what are the parts of pancreas. So it is head with the uncinate process, then neck, and then body and tail. And now what is herringbone pattern? Herringbone pattern shows the ductular system of the pancreas, that main pancreatic duct, and there are many accessory pancreatic duct coming out of it, which give fish bone appearance. That is called herringbone pattern. What is biliary tree? He may ask, what is biliary tree? What do you mean by? The stem of biliary tree is common hepatopancreatic duct. Then it bifurcates into two, the pancreatic duct and the common bile duct. Common bile duct is formed by the cystic duct and common hepatic duct. Common hepatic duct is formed by the right and left hepatic duct. This is called biliary tree. The structure, the favorite question of examiner is what structure lies behind the neck of pancreas. It is the portal vein, formation of the portal vein formation by the fusion of splenic vein and the superior mesenteric vein below. The splenic vein and superior mesenteric vein unite to form the portal vein. This important incidence occurred just behind the neck of pancreas. Okay. Now coming to the kidney, the favorite questions are what are the covering of kidney? From inside out, it is the renal capsule, perirenal fat, then come renal fossa, and then pararenal fat body. Renal fossa is anteriorly, the anterior layer of fossa of total duct, and posteriorly fossa of Zucker-Kandel, but this attachment is deficient on the inferior aspect, and during starvation the descent of kidney occurs, that is known as nephroptosis. The examiner will ask what is the arrangement at the hilum of kidney. It is DHAP. From anterior to posterior, it is first the renal vein, then renal artery, and then renal pelvis. Okay. Now coming to the uterus, what are the parts of uterus? The upper 2/3 is the body and lower 1/3 is the cervix. Cervix is again divided into the extravaginal and the intravaginal part. Okay, this is vagina, and this is inside the vagina, this part of the cervix, and this is outside the vagina. This is only lower 1/3, and upper 2/3 is the body of the uterus. What are the layers of uterus? From outside inward, it is parametrium, myometrium, and endometrium. Parametrium is the peritoneal fold, the visceral peritoneum, along with the connective tissue. Myometrium is the muscle layer, and endometrium is the mucosal layer. Muscle layer again divided into three parts, that is the outer longitudinal, middle reticular, and the inner circular. And the most clinically significant is the middle reticular, which is also known as stratum vasculature or as stratum vasculaire. As after delivery or after menses, it constricts the middle reticular layer, and the reason why the bleeding stops. Okay, it helps in the stoppage of bleeding. Okay, the inner one is the endometrial layer, which is formed again by the endometrium, that is the inner mucosal layer, mucosa, that is formed by the epithelium and lamina propria. Epithelium is the simple columnar type, and lamina propria divided into the inner stratum functionale, and outside there is stratum basale, and stratum functionale again divided into the stratum compactum and stratum spongiosum. Compactum is towards the luminal aspect. Examiner will ask what is the shape of the uterine cavity. You have to say in coronal section it is triangular, and in sagittal section it is slit-like. What are the parts of the fallopian tube? It has got four parts: intramural, and then isthmus, infundibulum, then comes ampullary region, and then infundibulum. Okay, what are the parts of the broad ligament? Mesosalpinx, mesometrium, infundibulopelvic ligament or suspensory ligament of the ovary, here it lies, and mesoovarium. In between the, or you can say just below the fallopian tube, this is mesosalpinx. Just by the side of the lateral border of the uterus, this is mesometrium. Infundibulopelvic ligament in between the ovary and the lateral pelvic wall. And here it also lies the infundibular part of the fallopian tube. Infundibulopelvic ligament or suspensory ligament of ovary. And fourth one is the mesoovarium, through which the ovary is suspended on the posterior surface of the broad ligament. Okay. And also the favorite question is, what is the relation in between the round ligament of uterus, fallopian tube, and the ligament of ovary? Round ligament of uterus is antero-inferior. Fallopian tube is just going laterally, and this is the round ligament of uterus is antero-inferior, whereas the round ligament of ovary is postero-inferior. Okay, antero-inferior round ligament of uterus, postero-inferior ligament of ovary. Okay, and about this is the, here is the ventral aspect of the brain. The favorite question is, tell me the what cranial nerve is coming out from which structure. So forebrain, it gives out the first and second cranial nerve, the midbrain third and fourth cranial nerve, and the hindbrain is giving out the rest of, that is we have got 12 pair of cranial nerve. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, and what constitutes the brain stem? It is the midbrain, pons, and the medulla oblongata. These three constitutes the brain stem. And what constitutes the hindbrain? The hindbrain constitute, it is formed by the pons, medulla oblongata, and the cerebellum. Okay, and another one is this one is the pyramid. Pyramid is formed by, it is formed by the corticospinal fiber beneath. Okay, or you can say pyramidal tract. The name itself says pyramid. Okay, and this structure, this swelling is olive. And what forms olive? So inferior olivary nucleus lies within it, just beneath it. Inferior olivary nucleus. Okay, and this is testis. The important thing about the testis is side determination. So posteriorly lies the epididymis. So this is anterior and this is posterior. On the lateral and the medial surface, the lateral surface, there is a sulcus here, the sinus of epididymis. This is called the sinus of epididymis, which very much evident, and it is present on the lateral surface. So this is lateral and that is medial surface. And the superior pole in the here from the spermatic cord. Spermatic cord is going up. So the site of spermatic cord itself that it is superior pole and this one is inferior. So side determination in the testis is very important. Okay.